Yeah.
I am.
Heard you now.
Hey.
Yep. Beautiful Saturday morning. Clear. What's the temperature out there?
32.
32.
Coming in.
Right on the freezing mark. 32.
Hey, a killing frost last night.
Mm.
Yeah, I could see that on the drive up.
Give me a song with those three words in it.
Killing frost.
I think. I may be wrong. I might, but it's a and an adjective in frost. But I think it seemed like it's a killing frost. You guys know wildfire.
I believe you're right.
Oh yeah, the song Wildfire. About a
I believe
horse.
you're correct.
Yeah, I done got my lyrics right this morning.
Yeah, the night before it came a killing frost.
I think that is what it says. It's something about a killing frost.
Oh, I always like that song.
Oh, that's an
Wildfire.
awesome song.
Yeah.
That's an awesome song. That's one if I'm riding down the road singing, I'm not ashamed,
You're not ashamed.
to let the person in the car beside me know that I'm singing that particular song. So, yeah, I've got you.
Turn in your man card on that one.
Nah.
Okay.
Well, it's a man singing, and
Well,
you know,
that's right.
it's not Madonna's "Like a Virgin" that was
right.
brought up a few weeks back.
Yeah, the author being Richard Howell.
Oh, well, that way to call him out, Mike. He
Yeah.
might not have wanted his men.
I don't think he cares.
I don't either. Big day of college football. We're going to get out a little bit. Big night last night in high school football, first round.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, first round. I don't ever remember it, Mike. You and I talked about it. I don't ever remember all four Lincoln County teams winning a playoff game on the same night, on the same weekend.
I think it's
Well,
unprecedented. I've been thinking about that too. And all four teams? No.
Yeah,
It
all four
caught the
teams.
attention of football Friday night.
Did it?
Did.
They mentioned
Did
it.
it?
They did.
Okay.
They didn't know whether, but they were talking
Well,
about how
what's his compatriot's name? Nate's sidekick.
They couldn't have mentioned it long.
Cam. I can see his
Well,
face.
no.
They couldn't have mentioned it long because they're not on long.
Yeah, they are.
Well,
Was it on the TV part?
This was on the computer part.
Was it? Okay.
Computer part.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I've never
they were on the
clicked in and watched the
12:15.
computer part. Maybe I need to do that
Yeah, you
sometime.
should. It was on. Oh, they don't care about time.
No, because last night was almost 12:20.
Don't
It was
matter.
about 12:20.
Don't
when
have
they
a
finally
don't
set it up.
have a time they have to get off
No.
there. That's good.
And they'll just sit around and talk. Nate's very chatty, talking about the team. So
While Lincoln County went 4-0, one of the topics that Mike Painter was, we talked to him for a few minutes, and Lanny, and we were talking about, and you, Mike, just stepped in the middle of it. I think Gaston County. I thought for a moment, went winless, but then we remembered Bessemer City
That's right.
was a winner last night.
well, we talked about it. Just not a really good year
No.
for Gaston County High School football.
Not
South
when,
Point goes down.
not when your anchor has
Yeah.
a mediocre season, and that's
by
being
South
South
Point
Point.
standards, yeah, it was mediocre by their standards.
One thing that did happen last night, though, is I know you shouldn't really look at this because it could have been mop up, but Hunter Huss did put some points on the board against Hickory.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 35, 30, somewhere in that range?
Is that being that much?
Yeah, I think it was. But Ashbrook went down in a shutout, and I can't remember the others. Cherryville lost. I think we're not exactly what the score was in the Cherryville game.
What, 35-0? Was
East Gaston went down.
East Gaston
North
did go down
Gaston
right
go
here
down.
in Maiden. Yep.
Huss scored 32. I'm just looking.
Wow.
51-32.
51-32. Catawba County had a pretty good night. We do know, like you said, Mike, that Bandy's went down to Monroe.
Well, yeah, they had probably the toughest straw of the night.
Yeah, but Maiden was a winner. Hickory was a winner last night. Bunker Hill a winner last night. Just thinking about this, for a moment, the teams that we had that won last night in our area, in our listening area, and who's got the best shot of winning next week? Because I'm going to tell you right now, the bracket gets ridiculous in round 2.
You said it last night. They're running the gauntlet.
It is. It is. It's a gauntlet in 2A and 3A. Most of our teams are in 2A and 3A. I don't know Bessemer's opponent. I might have to look at that, but I'm thinking it's somebody. Didn't we hear Swain County?
Swain County.
They host
double.
Swain County. They host 10-1 Swain County.
Wow.
Because Bessemer was a conference champ.
That's
Swain
right.
County was a runner-up. But that'll be tough. I'm going to tell you who I think has the best chance of winning.
You're going to say North Lincoln.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I do think they have a really good
think
chance,
they do,
though,
too.
of knocking off Hickory. But the best chance to me is the Bunker Hill Bears.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think they have a really legitimate shot playing at home against Burns because Burns' defense isn't the typical Burns defense that we see.
Yeah.
But that offense that Bunker Hill puts out there on the field, they can score some points.
They can. And, Jason Willis is an exceptional running back.
Yes. I think they really have a legitimate shot in that game. Brett, this father-son think alike. Brett just sent me a message, said Bunker Hill.
Yeah.
I just feel like they've got an opportunity there. We know Lincoln plays Shelby. We know Maiden goes to Salisbury. We know Hickory plays a rematch. They'll host North Lincoln. I think that one's going to be a lot tighter than the first meeting was between those two. East Lincoln will go to undefeated West Henderson. After East Lincoln's performance last night, how in the world do you pick them next week? I don't know what to do. I don't know which East Lincoln's going to Jekyll or Hyde.
I've got egg on my face after picking them to lose.
You won't have egg on your face till about 10:30.
Yeah, that's right. After we go to breakfast, of course. Hey. You know what? I think they got a chance in that game.
I do too.
I really do.
Yeah. Again, we have to go back. I have not looked at the West Henderson schedule. In the strength of that schedule.
I have to look at that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I will say this. I mean, I'm not knocking on East or North, but their schedule as far as strength wasn't, with the exception of having Hickory and Statesville in there, that's something we hadn't really hit on either. Hickory, Statesville, East Lincoln, North Lincoln. West Iredale was defeated by a much better Dudley team.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that conference had a pretty good night, too.
It wasn't bad.
4-1. And I don't think did I miss anybody that made the playoffs. That St. Stephen's and Ford did not.
No,
North Iredale did North Iredale make it?
They
did not. Okay,
they did not.
But pretty good night for that conference as well. Like I said, the part that bothers me, I guess, more than anything, is what has happened to Gaston County.
Yeah,
it
just hasn't been good.
It hasn't. Who would ever thought that you would have? Okay, how many did they have in? They had East Gaston, they had South Point, they had Bessemer, they had Cherryville,
North Gaston.
North Gaston got shut out. Hunter Huss, 6 teams, and you're telling me Bessemer
is the lone survivor,
the only one that won last night. I mean, how many years would you predict that to happen in Gaston County? I'm a little surprised when we sit here and name six schools that made the playoffs. How many did that leave out? Kramer?
Yeah, they had a bad year. Forest View,
I think, had 2 wins total between the two teams, right?
Yeah.
Kramer went winless. Forest View won 2, I think.
That'd be the 2, wouldn't it? Well, not
Is
counting
that it?
Highland Tech.
Yeah, Highland Tech's another.
That would be
another.
That would be
It's been a strange year in Gaston. Where are all the football athletes? That's what I want to know in Gaston County, because they're there. You'd think they're there.
Yeah.
I don't know where else they would be, but it's just surprised me a little bit that we'll see how Bessemer can match up against Swain County next week. It's not going to be easy, I can tell you that. Trying to remember who Swain lost their championship to. Was it Robbinsville?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Robbinsville
So they were undefeated,
a week ago, and ended their.
You just talking about North Henderson?
Yes.
Played Newton Conover first game of the year, 54-22. Hendersonville, Polk County, Irwin, North Henderson, East Henderson, Smoky Mountain, Pisgah, Franklin, Tuscola, and then Irwin. So
you got the scores? What was the score of the
yeah, they're right here.
which one is it I was trying to go back a few? It was one of the mountain teams, I think. Not Pisgah, not
When Smoky Mountain was.
Yes. That's
28-13.
Yeah.
They won.
Yeah. I'll take the Mustangs next week. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there.
Yeah.
I'll take the
I'm
Mustangs on the
that
road.
way.
And that's a 4-7 Smoky Mountain too.
Yeah.
So it looks like here.
Right. Yeah. And it was just a 2-touchdown game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Strength of schedule sometimes figures in. I think I will take the Mustangs.
East
to go on the road
Henderson was
and get that one.
0-10. I mean,
And who would the two teams there in that bracket, Lenny, have next? The winner of East Lincoln.
I'll look.
Okay, I thought maybe you
I'll
had
pull
to.
that. No,
right.
I
didn't want
just
to put you
went
on the
directly
spot
to
there.
North Henderson schedules. What?
West Henderson schedule.
Yeah, West excuse me.
Well, Richard corrects me, and he is exactly right. We left out Mountain Island Charter in Gaston County, down in the edge of Gaston County.
Who's got kids?
He has a comment under that I won't read. But
with kids from multiple counties.
Donald Charter, hey, they're in Gaston County.
They are, and they did win last night. I saw that score when I went through them. When I got up this morning, and a lot of times I do this, especially in the playoffs, I'll get up and I'll drink some coffee and I'll scroll through just to see what kind of surprises there were. And he said, "Tell Mike I don't care," and I know what he's talking about. His song as he's singing down the road. I like it.
You were asking. They played 2 teams with winning records.
Is that right?
West Henderson.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking here. I'm pretty sure this is just records.
Only played 2 teams with winning records, and you
North
said
Henderson 7-4.
yes.
Pisgah's 9-2.
So how bad did they win those 2 contests?
30-10 Pisgah.
Okay, that's what you should do.
55-16.
Yeah.
North Henderson.
Okay, so they won. Yep, they won the games, I guess, that were challenges pretty heavily.
It sounds like it. I'm leaning that way because what East Lincoln did on the road last night to Ledford.
Yep. Mike, they were giving me a mic down the road on the way home. That was
deservedly
good. We loved it. We loved it.
Yeah, we love it.
We did not pick East Lincoln last night because of the 0 they put on the board the week before at North Lincoln. But if you go watch North Lincoln play, you would understand why
I can see why now.
A 0. And
I have most improved teams I've seen this year.
I have don't know that I've ever said these words, but I told Mike last night, and I've told a couple people this morning. North Lincoln's freshman running back is the closest thing I've seen to Goo White at that age. Mm-hmm. He's a freshman. Yep. 250-plus yards last night, 5 touchdowns in a playoff game.
254 and 5 TDs.
Yeah, and he is strong as an ox, and when he breaks free, he can fly.
Yeah.
Now, you just don't see that combination a lot.
And the poise of a freshman. I mean, to come in there, and he was on JVs, right?
Yeah. And I was informed last night, after the game, late last night, in the wee hours when Mike Powell was typing a story. Thank you, Mike, for getting that done. And the guys already thanked us from the Rockingham County paper
I expect my check in the mail.
It'll be there. Where was I going? Oh, he is a lockdown corner.
Is that right?
Yes. He is a lockdown corner, and if they may use him on that side of the ball quite a bit against Hickory because Hickory likes to throw it around.
They do. So, they had let's don't forget, is Shannon Wingate, the regular starting fullback most of the year, he did dress out last night. I mean, I don't know, obviously, with the way things were going and the way they were running the football.
What year is Wingate?
Sophomore.
He's a sophomore. So, they got one of the best.
I didn't think he was a senior.
Hey,
That's reading.
This team is all juniors or sophomores.
Yeah, they have very few seniors. They got a couple wing backs that are seniors that they'll miss, but the bulk of that team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, they're going to be
how about on the offensive side? The quarterback's a junior. Wingate's a sophomore.
Well, you got the freshman.
So there you go.
Yep, they're set. They're set.
Hey, and don't forget Jake Dillingham. 42 out of 43 extra points.
Kicking the kickoffs all in the end
zone.
Kicks all the kickoffs. Every one last night but one, right?
Yep.
Only one last night. And guess what? The coverage was so good they didn't even get it to the 20. Yeah. In the one he didn't kick in the end zone, they got to about 15.
Playing his first year of football, he's only going to get better. If he can get any better than he's performed this year. And
our North Lincoln haters that are out there, they're hating this conversation this morning.
But it's coming.
But that's the game we saw last night, and we have to talk a little bit about the game we saw. And you know, we talked about the playoffs. We're going to get into them in a little bit. We talked about the playoffs, and the second rounds were just absolutely ridiculous. And now we're going to find out. West Lincoln, a winner last night over Chase. They've got to go to Monroe. I'm going to tell you right now, out of all the teams that are on the road, Monroe is the worst one. The last one I would pick. I would pick Monroe. Last, I would pick Shelby to go to, and that's where Lincoln's going. I'd rather go to Shelby right now than Monroe.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about it because of the drive, although that does figure in. But just I would not want to face Monroe more than I would not want to face Shelby at this point. But they're both big underdogs. Lincoln and West are both going to be underdogs going into those games. North Lincoln at Hickory, they're going to be an underdog even though it's a rematch because all you got to do is go back and look at the first meeting.
43-14.
Yeah, and realize. But this is Mike, from the last time we saw this team till we saw them last night,
How long ago has it been?
I'm
when
not
they-
sure.
September
I didn't-
22nd.
I'm not sure they didn't change players.
Looks like a different
it
team.
was so much night and day.
Yeah,
on
I
that
definitely think this rematch will be a competitive game.
Yeah, and East Lincoln going to West Henderson. You know, we were ranking our area teams who had the best chance next week. And we came up with Bunker Hill first. I don't know. It'd be a flip of a coin for me between East Lincoln and North.
And you know, you're talking about 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kids with Hickory winning so big. Where's their mind at?
yes.
This ain't the same North Lincoln team,
No.
maybe. You, know,
It's
you don't know.
hard to convince your players of that,
That's right.
especially those, as you said, that age group of player.
I'm like you though. It's gonna Hickory throws it around. That's gonna be key. East Lincoln, North Lincoln secondary and their coverage and so forth.
Well, it's simple. Hickory wants to get it in a shootout. North Lincoln's going to want to pound it out. North Lincoln leads six-minute drives that they score touchdowns on, and if they can do that, you know, or just score touchdowns. Period. I mean, you know, if they break it, you're obviously gonna take it. But, you know, I think the higher, even though North Lincoln was in total control last night in a very high-scoring game, what did they have at half? 49.
43.
43. Yeah, as soon as they scored the first possession, second half, clock ran the rest of the game. But they can score quick, even with that run offense. They really can. They can score pretty quick.
Well, you know, I've seen a lot of wing tees, but they seem to run theirs on speed. I mean, it's like a wing tee
Yeah.
on speed, the way they run that.
Yeah, and they will surprise you with a pass
Yeah, every now and
every
then.
now and then, and they're pretty doggone effective whenever they do surprise you.
Well, see, then they've got guys who can catch and then run with whenever they do throw it, which is rare.
You're
They only
right.
threw it
You're
4
right.
times last night, but
And you
yeah.
know what I know they've got speed, but what I'm more amazed at, Mike, is the physicality
Yeah.
of their wingbacks even. You know what I mean? The physicality of their wingbacks surprises me somewhat as well. You know, it's coach rubbing off on players, is it not? Basil was always a physical player when he played. You
Yep.
know, he played a couple
That's-
different
that-
positions. He
that's-
played some running back, played linebacker, and yesterday was his birthday, and he got his present. He got a.
I got to get that into the Times news story somehow.
Yeah. On his birthday. Just don't put the number. Just on his birthday. You don't.
39.
Yeah, third, something like that.
Well, I think I know. I can add it up because I know when he graduated from East. So.
Well, you think I don't?
Yeah, because you were close. You were right in there somewhere, right?
Same.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, you were the same.
About as close as you can get.
Same,
then.
same year.
Close as you can get.
Same
then.
year, my man. We both graduated in 2005.
I know.
Right, Lenny? That's what you said.
That's right.
We graduated in 2005. LSU, Alabama tonight. I had heard yesterday somebody made a mistake. I was watching or listening to some show yesterday, and they said that game is in Baton Rouge, but it is not. It is not.
in
That
Tuscaloosa.
game is in Tuscaloosa.
How about this one? Southern Cal and Washington.
Yeah.
That's big on the West Coast.
Whoever wins the game, it's probably going to be 50-49. You know, I know what it was last week. 50-49. Southern Cal pulled out a win,
Yeah.
and that was against.
Who was that again?
Oh man,
Arizona. Or somebody.
No, it wasn't
No?
Arizona. It was
Well,
it was somebody a little better than that.
BYU. I don't know.
In that, was it BYU? Lanny, help us out. Who did Southern Cal beat last week? 50-49. We know they won. We just can't remember who they beat. 50-49.
Wasn't Cal, was it?
No, it wasn't Cal.
I know.
It was a conference game, but that's. Come on, Brett. I know you probably know the answer
Brett
to
knows
this.
the answer to
Wasn't
that.
Stanford, was it?
Yes,
I believe.
it was.
Was yeah?
I believe it's Stanford. I believe now.
Okay.
It was Stanford.
Okay. Who hadn't scored 49 all
All
year?
year long.
Uh,
How much longer can Lincoln Riley stick with the defensive coordinator who was also with him at Oklahoma, and they had one of the worst defenses in the country? He's got to
I
jettison
don't
himself from
understand
that guy.
You know, it's almost like he de-emphasizes it. If
Yeah.
it makes a reflection on you.
Yeah.
You know that
So why is everybody convinced he's making the jump to the NFL this year? If he makes the jump to the NFL, he better hire a great defensive coordinator.
He better.
And where would he go?
Is that what people are saying?
That's what I've been hearing on some of the talk
Okay.
shows, talking heads, and I mean, would it surprise you? It wouldn't me.
No,
Nothing
Nothing
surprised me.
surprises
anyway.
me. I even heard this on the way up, that what they should do with Harbaugh, suspend him from the rest of the regular season for the advanced scouting incident. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Seen the guy resign. It was
So
the party involved.
Yeah.
okay, if somebody resigns, it's true.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's
If
true.
somebody resigns,
Yeah, if they resign,
I feel
it happened.
99.9% sure
Yeah.
that it really
Did
did happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you can tell that the Big Ten, especially, they want something to happen.
Oh yeah,
Right,
they
they want
sooner
something-
than later.
all the
Right.
Big Ten coaches are
Yeah,
up in
they're-
arms.
Yeah.
They are. They're
absolutely
ready.
up in arms.
Yeah. So let's go to this question, and it's
If they win the rest of their games without Harbaugh on the sideline, they got to go to Penn State, and they got
Oh, they can.
Ohio State in the Big House.
Well, that would be the tough one.
yeah,
But they do have them at
they
home.
could win them both without him
Uh,
there. I think.
You know, he'll be, even if he's not on the sideline, he'll be coaching
He'll be
Yeah.
coaching
somehow.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean,
But
Or
the
he'll-
question I was going to ask: will he be at
or he'll be
Michigan
scout-
next year?
He'll be video scouting somebody else.
The next team.
well, okay.
Will he be there next year?
You keep talking about jumping into the NFL. What are the openings? The Bears? Would that be a logical landing spot?
The key one to me that's going to be open is the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I still think if they get the right person in there in that organization, they're pretty talented, but it's just not working.
Well, do
and
they
Josh
have a
McDaniel's
quarterback?
gone.
Yeah.
McDaniel's
Oh, yeah.
already out.
Well, no, I heard
3 people out.
I heard
Who-
coming in this morning. I don't know. I was flipping through the radio and they were talking about Harbaugh. And this guy was saying, why would he? He said, why would he leave unless he's wore out his welcome with the administration at Michigan? That was because he said.
Well, he wears
that-
it out everywhere.
He said, and that's what he said. He said everywhere he's been, he said that would be the issue. He said, I believe he said they've been in the playoffs the last 2 years.
That's right.
He said, and that was with 4 teams. When they went to 12,
He's
he
probably
said they'd
got
be
the
there,
best team
They'd
in the
probably be there
country.
every year. Is what he was saying.
This year, he's probably
Once he
got
went
the
to
best
12.
team in the country, and that don't always equal winning the championship, but he's probably got the best team right now.
Well, I don't think Michigan's going to self-impose anything too bad because they want to win the national title, right?
Yeah, it's been a while
Now,
for them.
and if you leave it to the NCAA, it won't happen for 10 years.
Right.
So I don't know
Well,
where.
they had a Super Bowl before the NCAA moved.
Yeah. So I don't know when that's going to come down.
I'm gonna guess something probably comes down Monday, Monday or Tuesday. It might be a conference call on Monday, and then Tuesday you might hear the results. I'm just speculating. I just think something's going to happen because they're getting too much pressure from
Oh, yeah,
from
from the conference.
from the rest of the teams in
do
the
you buy
conference.
the idea that the buck stops at the head coach? I mean, he should know everything about the program.
Of course,
right?
of
I
course.
think it
Going on.
is. I mean, I kind of.
You can't control a kid that goes out and does something, but guess
No.
what? It's your
I
responsibility.
was kind of same when I'm
right.
I'm a Carolina fan. When Butch Davis was Carolina, I didn't know anything. You're the head man.
Right.
If you didn't know about it, then you're not doing your
That's
job.
your fault
and,
there.
And if you did know about it, then you're behind it. So either
How many
way,
guilty head coaches have
mean-
always used that crutch? I didn't know
Yeah,
anything about
yeah.
it. Now, Patino at Louisville,
I
he
wouldn't-
didn't know about what went on.
I
at
wasn't
Louisville.
aware of that.
I wasn't aware of that.
Right.
Well, what else you gonna say though?
Yeah, what else you gonna
I
say?
mean-
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that's
You know, in their defense, and we'd probably do the same thing. I didn't know that was going on. you
Now,
know.
certainly there's rogue assistants out there, but that's your problem if you have a rogue assistant.
Yeah, you didn't do a good job
Yeah.
of
that's right.
Telling
in
them,
the
yeah,
interview.
That's right.
Of-
So
let's go
Either way.
go through a little bit here. Tuesday night, Northern Illinois, Central Michigan a winner 37-31. Also Toledo over Buffalo 31-13. Is that the one had the snow? One of those had snow falling
know.
pretty good last week.
It's Mac night, wasn't it? I don't
Mac night, yeah.
know what's Mac.
Did you get a
night.
Big Mac? Ball State on Wednesday. Ball State loses to Bowling Green 24-21, and it was the Zips of Akron over Kent State 31-27. We should play this game. Central Michigan, as Mike will always tell you, is the Chippewas.
great name.
Toledo is the
Rockets? Is it Rockets?
I don't know. That's something like that. I was almost going to give you the minor league baseball team, the Mud Hens. Toledo, yeah, I'm trying to remember that one, and I can't. Buffalo is the Bulls?
I believe you're
looks
right.
like a bull for a
Bulls and
mascot.
Bulls, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see the mascot here for Toledo. It might be a rocket. I can't tell. Northern Illinois is the Huskies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ball State is the David Lettermans. That's what that's what I've always heard. They're the Cardinals. Bowling Green,
Akron Zips.
Kent, I don't know Bowling Green and I don't know Kent State right off the top of my head.
Can you name the former Notre Dame coach who ended up at Akron for a while?
George O'Leary. I don't know.
Nope.
He wasn't coaching Notre Dame, but an hour and a half.
Jerry Fowles.
Jerry Fowles.
Yeah.
I believe that's right.
Oust Fowles.
Rodney
Oust.
says you are correct. It is the Rockets. I don't know many
Ousted
Rockets. I know
Fowles.
AC Reynolds, and now I know Toledo. I can't believe I did not know that one.
And you said which one's the Chippewas?
Central Michigan.
Western's the Broncos. Is that right?
You got Western and Eastern, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
about
I only
either
know
one.
about Central, which is coached by
Rick Pitino.
Today.
But he didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, he's
he was once coach at Florida, and they ousted him.
McElwain. Yeah, McElwain. Back on his level now, maybe.
Yeah, I think
could
that's
say.
really his
Rodney says Kent
comfort
State's
zone.
the Golden Eagles.
Okay.
Yep, and I have heard that now that he said that, but I don't know if I could have come
Are
up
there
with
many
it.
Eagles in Ohio?
Look up the other one too, Rodney. Tell me who the which one was it? Bowling Green. You know, Bowling Green's just across the line in South Carolina, isn't it? Ain't that the first town you go through before you get to Clover? 321 Bowling Green. I think it might be a different one though. This one's in Kentucky, right?
Bowling.
I don't know.
You don't know there's a Bowling Green?
I didn't know that.
In South Carolina, I think there is.
Bowling
Before you
Springs.
get- there's a Bowling Springs.
There's a
Yeah, there
Bowling
is.
Springs in South Carolina and North Carolina.
And a Beaufort Buford.
Beaufort,
Buford.
On Thursday night, it was Texas. Excuse me. Let me look here and make sure I got this right. I am way behind, guys, in following college football. On Thursday night, Texas Tech 35, TCU 28. Duke over Wake Forest 24-21.
Last second field goal on the
second
last
field
play of
goal.
the game.
How about that?
I did see the end of that.
And Duke now is 6-3, bowl eligible, and they stopped.
It's a quarterback back.
No,
No, and they're talking now.
Mm-hmm.
This time it's not going to be.
I don't think
Yeah, I
he's
think
going to be
it's
back.
a toe injury
Out
now.
for the year.
He's probably out for the
said
year.
indefinite. I mean, a whole lot longer than the first time.
The year now, if you figure in the bowls, it's still about 8 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he might be available possibly. I don't
bowl.
know.
Yeah. And they still got Carolina down the road. They still got to play Louisville.
That's
which has
tough.
been high.
Two tough ones. Troy University. Mike and I have seen Troy play in person. Troy 28. USA, South Alabama.
Hey, USA.
USA.
They beat
loses.
the USA.
They did. 28-10. Last night it was Syracuse falling to Boston College. Boston College come to life all of a sudden.
And they're bowl eligible.
Winning a couple games. Great uniforms up at Boston College.
Whereas Syracuse, after a fast start, is fading.
17-10, Boston College beats Syracuse. Also last night, this one may have had snow too, but I had no idea it was on. Wyoming over Colorado State, 24 to 15.
I love Wyoming. I don't know why. Laramie, everything about it.
But it was on the road. No,
glad
I'm wrong. It was at Wyoming.
I'm glad when
It was
they
at
win.
Wyoming.
I didn't watch, but I seen a little high. I didn't see snow on the sidelines or anywhere.
Yeah, had a great game
You don't
against
remember
App earlier.
Because I seen a scene from the end zone and they had the Wyoming colors in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the most notable player ever to come out of Wyoming?
Well, Josh Allen.
Okay, I was hoping you'd get that. That's pretty much set you up there. We're going to get into today's college football schedule, but first we're going to take our a quick time out. But I did want to go ahead and give our listeners something to, maybe Darren's listening this morning,
Trivia.
something to ponder on.
Ponder.
I'm guessing.
on.
I'm guessing he's still sleeping after the late night and then doing the.
Oh yeah.
But it's our lyrics, and I've got a couple here, and I'm going to start out real simple. Bowling Green Falcons. I would have never got that, Rodney.
Falcons.
Bowling
Oh.
Green Falcons. I
Okay.
don't know if I'd have ever thought of it. Somebody help me. Is there not a community named Bowling Green right between Gastonia and Clover? I just think there's a little community.
There's also a song titled Bowling Green, a
You're
folk
kidding.
song from the 60s. Yeah, absolutely. Check that one out.
I don't go back that far.
No.
Here you go, Mike. Lenny, Friday night, it's good because it's football Friday, right?
Yeah.
Friday night, they'll be dressed to kill down at Dino's Bar and Grill. Back in a moment.
Heard the
Folks, if you are looking to buy a new metal building, let me tell you the place to go. Unrivaled Metal Buildings in Lincolnton. With over 20 years' experience, they specialize in metal carports, garages, RV covers, storage sheds, and more. They service over 40 states. They offer bank financing and a credit-free rent-to-own program. All of their units are engineer certified to meet local wind and snow requirements. Commercial sizes are available as well. Address is 2541 East Main Street, Lincolnton, or call 844-848-8676. Also, check their website out at unrivalledmetalbuildings.com.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincolnton. Dr. Cloninger's pedigree originates from his father, mother, and uncle and continues with his brother and cousin. The name is an icon in the field of dentistry. Dr. Cloninger has dedicated himself to his patients and community and continues to lead by example. He has heard his whole life, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to sustain the family name and proceed by offering the best reasonable treatment possible. Dr. John Cloninger III, 904 Doncha Drive in Lincolnton. Call 704-735-0765.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
How to please the whole crew on game day? How about a 40-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's? Epically crispy, so juicy, so tender, and all the dipping sauces. Right now, 40 chicken McNuggets made with all white meat are yours for only $10.99. Well, yours and whoever you're watching the game with. My advice, double down on your defense because 40 chicken McNuggets disappear surprisingly fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton.
Tim Johnson here from WLON. Folks, if you are looking to buy a new metal building, let me tell you the place to go. Unrivaled Metal Buildings in Lincolnton. With over 20 years' experience, they specialize in metal carports, garages, RV covers, storage sheds, and more. They service over 40 states. They offer bank financing and a credit-free rent-to-own program. All of their units are engineer certified to meet local wind and snow requirements. Commercial sizes are available as well. Address is 2541 East Main Street, Lincolnton, or call 844-848-8676. Also, check their website out at unrivalledmetalbuildings.com.
So which group do you guys think of in that instrumental there, our intro music? Led Zeppelin comes to my mind.
It sounds like riffs from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
To me.
Yep.
I mean.
The guitar sound.
Yeah.
Yep. Mike, you said that the when I asked what alumni of Wyoming do you know pops in your head. Yeah.
But there are others?
Yeah. Just a couple.
Okay.
Just a couple that are fairly well known. Kurt Gowdy.
Wow. Kurt Gowdy.
Yeah. Thank you, Rodney Willis. Jerry Buss.
Yeah.
Former owner of the Lakers. And Dick Cheney.
Well.
Yeah. Dick Cheney.
How about
Dick
that?
Cheney,
So,
yeah, that's right.
Yep. And
so there are some alum.
Also graduating from University of Wyoming, Wild Bill Hickok. No, I'm just kidding. He had to be from somewhere.
I do remember a guy played basketball there because I remember his name. It's such a funky name. Finis Dembo.
I do remember Finis Dembo. Yeah, because you know why? The first time I ever saw that name, I thought it should have been Dennis Fimbo, and they had it backwards. But it wasn't.
Dembo.
It was Finis
Dembo.
Finis Dembo.
Did he make it to the league?
I think for a little while, but not.
Let's give Go ahead.
I bet he was a big man. I bet he was a center, a
about
big man.
6'5".
I think he was a power forward.
Yeah, 6'5", 6'6".
But could shoot.
He's built solid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of Barkley looking thing. Best I can remember, that kind of body frame.
Yeah. Right.
Mike and Lanny eventually got the lyrics this morning. I want to see if don't blur them out. We'll give the listeners a little bit of chance. I'll read them again. Friday night they'll be dressed to kill down at Dino's Bar and Grill. And I'm ready to join them. Of course, it's not Friday night. I can't go join them here on a Saturday morning, but keep that in mind. Try.
Is that not a great name for a bar? Dino's Bar and Grill.
Yeah. You could just play that song over and over and over, right? Dino's is good. Geno's is also.
Yeah, we remember Geno's from the old Boone days, don't we?
You know what? When I said that didn't cross my mind. I had forgotten. But that it is one of the.
We used to go up there for
ones.
Football Saturdays, weekends.
Brett got it. He got he got the lyrics. Didn't name the group, but I'm sure he knows the group. But he sent me the title of the song.
Should know the group.
He does have that correct. You guys surprised at all when the college football rankings came out on Tuesday night? I think it was, maybe Monday night. I don't even remember. I think it was Monday. Go back. It might have been before Monday Night Football.
Let's go over those rankings again.
Well, all I can tell you is Ohio State was number one. I'm going to try to do them from memory, but Ohio State was number one, mainly based on their resume, they're undefeated, obviously, but on their resume to this point, because they have key wins over Notre Dame and a key win over
Penn State.
Penn State. But Penn State seems to be the Rodney got the lyrics as well here. Go ahead. Gravy got them. Gravy listened to me in this morning. Good to hear. Good to hear from David Wise this morning. Also naming. They get a little tougher as we go, but I don't have any real hard ones this morning. They probably know it, but they didn't list it.
Okay.
I think they were a 2-hit wonder.
Well, as far as the rankings go, and I'm not really surprised. Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State, all undefeated.
Ohio State's resume is better than Georgia's at this point. That will change. That will flip-flop if Georgia's got to win their games.
They're finishing.
But they will probably pass unless, Well, and then you can't have Michigan and Ohio State both winning out.
No.
Michigan was where in that third? So Georgia was second. Who was fourth?
Florida State.
Florida State, well deserving.
Yeah.
So far, but the Pac-12 just gets overlooked a little bit. I think.
Yeah,
I mean,
Washington is fifth, even though they're undefeated.
Right.
And Oregon was sixth.
A lot of people are thinking Oregon is playing the best ball in the country.
They're the best team
right
in
now.
the country right now.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. Because you watch them play.
The way they dismantled Utah.
But you know what? It's like any sport that can change with the drop of a hat.
Exactly.
I mean, they may go out there today and lay an egg.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Here's your trivia question, Mike, and this one just come to my head.
All right.
Name the head coach at Oregon.
Dan
Lanning.
Thank you.
Out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Georgia defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I do get this message from Rodney. He says there's a Dino's Bar and Grill on Highway 18 in Marathon Gas Station between Falston and Shelby. It sounds like Rodney's been there. Good wings and other food. He has been there. Good wings and other food at Dino's Bar and Grill up that way. So, go through the schedule today.
Can you name any other famous bars and grills in either movies or songs?
Gillies.
Gillies. Absolutely, baby.
Gillies. Mickey
Urban
Gillies
Cowboy.
out in Texas.
3 acres of concrete prairie.
Pasadena, Texas.
3 acres of concrete prairie.
Right.
Is that his nickname?
Yeah.
3 acres of concrete
prairie.
Wow.
I was thinking of St. Elmo's Fire, which was the bar in Georgetown from that movie.
Yep.
The Brat Pack.
Isn't there a restaurant named St. Elmo's in Indianapolis, like a famous restaurant?
Could be.
Or something?
Could be. I don't.
In Indy. We'll let the people, I'm not going to be able to try and think of it. I'm going to go through today's schedule. We'll let the people think of famous songs or bars in songs or movies.
Entertainment.
Movies, I really don't
Yeah,
have any that come to mind, but you do hear some mention in.
You do.
Wait a minute. I can't think of the name of it, but what was the name of the bar in The Jug? The Jug. Anybody know what The Jug is? I think that's the name of it. I think I come up with it. Now I'll leave you wondering.
The Jug.
Yeah.
You're come to judge.
Yeah.
But
there's a bar mentioned in the first line of a song called The Jug. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. I'm pretty sure it's Jug.
The
and
bar
somebody can
is the song.
The bar
Okay.
is The Jug.
The Jug.
Yeah. Oh, it's a way more famous song. Classic rock.
Okay.
Classic rock. Classic rock group.
Okay.
Tell me if I'm wrong. At The Jug. Here comes a message right now. Brett got it. Just like that. Just like
Lake
that.
Polly right off 10 in Houston. What is it? I don't know what that's about. Anyway.
Falston. Not Houston. I hope I said Falston. I hope I said Falston. David Wise with the correct answer this morning. Yes. Y'all want a hint?
Yeah.
I was cutting the rug
Place called Judge.
at a place called The Jug with a girl named Linda Lou.
Girl named Linda Lou.
What song is that?
Three.
It is. Give me 3 steps. Leonard
Give me
Skinner.
3 steps. That's right.
Mike's falling down on the job this morning. My lyric hero. Ohio State goes to Rutgers today. What a test for the mighty Buckeyes. K-State rolls into Texas.
Well, now I don't know. Rutgers is 6-2. Greg Schiano. I don't know.
They've been winning their games 4-3.
Okay.
Something like it seems like.
But don't be shocked if that maybe a game for a while anyway. I don't know.
I will be shocked if Rutgers wins.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just go ahead and tell you.
Absolutely.
I will be shocked if Rutgers wins. K-State at Texas. I don't think that's the easiest game in the world for the Longhorns.
Kansas State playing very well right now.
And Kansas State usually plays good in big games.
Here's
Here's another
they
thing.
just always play good in big games.
Win Ewers is out for Texas at QB.
Hmm.
So I don't know whether
I did not know that.
make a difference.
He didn't play last week either, did he?
Nope.
What stage is the Manning?
Yeah.
The next Manning in? Is he redshirted?
He
Is
must,
He must be red
Obviously,
shirted.
they're red shirting him.
Yeah.
And when Ewers got hurt, and this kid.
I gotta think Texas has 5 quarterbacks anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
the bigger schools they just do. You know.
Yep.
Texas A&M, no ranking beside their name, their Jimbo. Texas A&M at Ole Miss today, and there is a rank beside Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin's done a pretty good job. They're number 10 in the country,
now-
and it's been a quiet number 10.
Have they played Alabama yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Alabama
beat them.
beat
That's
them.
right.
That's their only loss.
Their loss.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Butch is telling me something here. St. Elmo's Fire has the best shrimp cocktail ever on fire. And that is in Indianapolis, right, Butch? That's what I was trying to come up with. Is that thing actually in Indianapolis? There was cheers from the sitcom and Double Deuce from Roadhouse movie.
Yeah,
Double
Roadhouse.
Deuce.
I thought about
Double
Road, but I
Deuce.
couldn't remember the name of the bar.
I love that. Yeah, Roadhouse. Double Deuce.
Yep.
Good one.
And that comes from Rodney this morning. I want to tell him this. I have been in that Cheers that he's talking about. It's actually the Bull and Finch is the name of it, the real name of it in Boston. Yep. Gene Schrontz misses the trivia question. Gene Schrontz is wrong, and I want him to argue with me. You know what his guess was? Give me 2 steps. So it was a shorter dance.
He must have been thinking of the Texas two-step.
He wrote the song.
Got another one here from Ned. He got Leonard Skinner as well. But Johnston Road out past South Meck where Park Road splits. Johnson Oler Road is off of Mallard Creek Road. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Downtown Indy, Butch says, is where that St. Elmo's restaurant is. I've always heard that was a very, very famous restaurant. I'd like to visit it someday. I like to visit any restaurant, matter of fact.
Yeah.
Clemson is at home to take on Notre Dame. That's probably your ACC highlighted game of the week.
Clemson 4-4, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Chances of winning today?
Lanny says
Missed
none,
2.
but
Slim and none.
Okay.
But no, honestly, no. I give them a 49% chance. Yeah, it's always really this. It's always 50, right? Every game's 50-50. You either win or you lose. But this is the kind of game they'll.
50 for Rutgers and Ohio State.
this
No,
kind of
I
game,
wouldn't know, but this one is the kind of game that Clemson would win.
Clemson
though
would win,
They'll be
that's
up
right.
for this.
Would
you
not
know,
be
Notre Dame
surprised.
coming in,
Would
right?
not be surprised they won.
Yep, same here. UConn visits Tennessee. Florida's at home against Arkansas. Wisconsin is at Indiana. Nebraska's at Michigan State. Think about that, guys. At one time, those were Big Ten matchups,
Yeah.
and now they're almost meaningless. Indiana at home against Wisconsin, and Nebraska at Michigan State. Do all 4 of them have? Wisconsin's got a winning record, right?
Yes.
But that's
Believe
about
so.
it. But that's about it, right? I mean, just barely over 500, but not beating good teams. Barry Alvarez still involved at.
He was AD. I don't know
Yeah.
if he is now or not.
I think I asked that last
Well,
week, but I don't
the
think
new
I got
coach
an
of
answer.
Wisconsin is
It's Luke Fickell.
Luke
Fickell.
Fickell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he'll I think he'll improve.
I do
though.
too.
But
I
it's
do
gonna
too.
take some time.
Yeah, they'll be a hard-nosed team.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way they like it
Mm-hmm.
in Wisconsin.
Michigan State's in shambles, obviously from.
Speaking of 2 major matchups today, Lenny, you're going to love this one. Jacksonville State at South Carolina, Campbell at North Carolina.
How did this happen on the schedule?
In the middle of the.
Right in the middle of the
right in the middle.
November.
It's break week, I guess. I don't know.
Wow,
I didn't know
must
that. I didn't
be.
know those were coming. Arizona State goes to Utah. Utah really took it on the chin last week
They sure did.
after winning a big game against Southern Cal last week. They who was it that just come in there and
Oregon.
well, there you go. Oregon making a statement last week. Georgia Tech at Virginia. Navy goes to Temple. Air Force is at home. Air Force, the reason I want to give you
Undefeated.
this, and number
Undefeated.
25 in the country, host Army today. If they play, they should remain undefeated. It is, I'm trying to move down here just a little bit to rank teams. Number 12, Missouri. I've heard people say that this week that they think Missouri is going to give Georgia a better game than people think.
I'm not drinking the water on that.
Okay. He is the man.
Yeah.
He's coach of the year. Right now, Mike, he could be coach of the year. National coach of the year.
Okay.
Or he could still be in Boone making a third of his salary like Mike wants him to do.
He abandoned ship after 1 year.
Would you have done it?
Yeah, sure.
I don't blame him.
It just leaves a bad taste
I know.
among App faithful, App Nation.
Yeah, it was a stepping stone, and we don't want to. I'm with you on it.
Don't
we
want
don't
to think
want
of
to see
App
App be
as
a stepping stone, but
That's right.
but it has been for many coaches, except for
Mac Brown,
except for Jerry
Moore.
Jerry Moore's really made a career out of it, and is the one that established the program.
Is the App State coach in trouble? What's his name? Sean.
I
Didn't think of his last name.
Well, the fans aren't real happy.
No.
But I don't know what that.
They got Marshall today.
I don't know where that leads with the administration.
They can't beat Marshall.
think
Where's that game at? Is it away? Is it App? They can't beat Marshall, I don't think. Marshall will just score too many points, and App likes to score points, but I just think Marshall will score too many points. But it is 50-50.
That's right.
Missouri at Georgia, Florida State at Pitt. What happened to the Pitt program? It went from gaining momentum for years, and all of a sudden, now they seem to
It's had a bad year.
Slid back down the pole.
One win they has been against Louisville.
Yeah.
Now that's when you talk about when somebody you expect not
That's
to win.
weird. That's weird. And then Louisville just shut out Duke, right? Last week, held them scoreless.
Yeah.
Well, you're speaking of Virginia Tech and Louisville. Don't they play today? Who would have thunk this time of year, this deep in the year?
Yeah.
That's the front runner to play Florida State in the winner of that game is the front runner to play Florida State in the championship game of the ACC.
Wow.
Who would have thought that?
I wouldn't.
No.
I mean, there's still a lot to play, but you got Clemson and Carolina and Duke and State all below them, and
And it's who?
Virginia Tech and
Virginia
Louisville.
Tech.
Oh,
Virginia
boy.
Tech's 3-1 in
The
the
winner
ACC.
of that, yeah.
And
That's another
what's
program.
Louisville in the ACC?
4-1, I believe.
Okay.
I believe
Yeah, they were
4-1.
undefeated till
Pitt.
overall till they lost to who?
To Pitt.
Pitt, yeah.
Only game they lost.
Well,
Wow.
Florida State then.
Kicking yourselves in the butt. Kicking yourselves in the
They
butt.
will not have problems in the ACC title.
Mike, you don't have any Kansas Jayhawk attire on this morning. I saw that.
No, I don't want anything to do with Rock Chalk Jayhawk after last week.
Jayhawks knocked off your Sooners
For
last
the first
week
time
in a wild
like
game.
30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what? It couldn't happen at a worse time because Oklahoma's on their way maybe to a playoff berth.
They were.
Yeah.
It's been derailed.
And yeah. And it was it at home?
No, it was
Okay,
at Kansas.
at Kansas.
It had an hour delay for rain and lightning, but no excuses. Bad.
It sounded to me like you made one. Oh, we love to get picked at when our favorites go down. But Oklahoma does have Bedlam today. Oklahoma,
the last
Oklahoma State.
Bedlam.
Yeah, I saw some comments by
Probably the last Bedlam in a long time. I don't know.
What's his name at Oklahoma State, the head coach.
Yeah, Mike Gundy.
Gundy, yeah. I saw a few comments. He just said it's always been kind of out of, this is just me saying what his words, but it was one of his. It's just his favorite thing. The favorite game, and it should be.
Yeah.
The in-state rivalry.
Oklahoma State's really hot. Oklahoma coming off a loss to Kansas. I don't know. I'm worried about it for sure.
Oklahoma will win just because they lost last week.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I'd take them to win. Now, here's the one I want to know. What kind of chance do you give Maryland at home today against Penn State?
I give them a chance.
I do too. Maryland's played pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Penn State
pretty good all year.
offensively, but against good teams hasn't showed anything.
They just can't get over the hump.
I don't think Michigan's gonna. I don't think they have anything for Michigan either. You guys.
Penn State's never been to the playoffs, right? Since we've had playoffs, I don't ever remember
can't
them.
remember them
Don't
ever
remember
being.
them being in there. And when was the first playoff year?
2014,
And who? And
2014, 13.
something like that. Yeah.
somebody needs to tell me who the first four were. The first time we had the playoffs, I'd like to know who the original
Was
four.
Auburn in that?
I think
Was that
it
Cam
Auburn?
Newton? And
I was
Newton?
wondering if that was Cam
yeah,
Newton. That's,
and they won it then.
And they
if that
won
was
it.
if that's the case,
I'm not positive. I'm not.
I'd like to know if that was the
who
first.
did they defeat? They beat Oregon right in the final.
I couldn't tell you.
Auburn did, yeah.
Just Oregon.
It was Oregon.
Your memory's better than mine.
I've slept since then, barely, but I have slept since then. Penn State on the road at Maryland. I think that's dangerous for Penn State. Number 13 Louisville's at home, as Lenny said, to take on Virginia Tech has all of a sudden become a very meaningful game. It is Tulane going to East Carolina. That's number 24 Tulane. East Carolina hadn't been up to standards this year either.
One win, is that right? One or two.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
Coach is. I'll finish it on the hot seat.
I was gonna say,
for sure.
I don't know his name, but the coach is on the hot seat.
Don't need to learn it. I'm afraid.
Yeah, right.
No use in learning.
No use learning it. Exactly. The irrelevant game of the week. I hate to do that to people. Is Illinois at Minnesota.
Yep.
Neither team ranked.
Minnehaha.
Minnehaha. Is that what they are now?
Yeah.
Big Ten Network today at 3:30. But actually, Illinois had a better season than normal, right?
Yeah. Well, what's the coach's name there? He used to be at Arkansas. Before that was
Belima.
Belima.
Yeah,
Brett
I've
Belima.
always liked him. I thought he was pretty good at what he does. Here you go. Over under in this one. This is Iowa at Northwestern. I heard the over under was 30.
That much?
Yeah, it was 30. Well, the guy on Dan Patrick that does a lot of betting and is their expert. He said I'm going under all the way. I'm going under all the way. It was in the 30s. You know, it might be 4-3 when it's over.
Well, they've already announced that Brian Ferentz, the OC, will not be back.
Is that right?
Yep.
And his dad.
He's not going to reach his 300.
Dad's the head coach.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
He run him off.
I think the administration ran him
off. I'm sure it was, but.
Well, he was going to have to get score 325 points to keep his job, and not even close.
Mike, have you ever heard of this school, Merrimack?
It's in New York, isn't it?
I've heard of it vaguely, but I have no idea where it is.
I think it's in New York, but I don't know.
Well, today their football team is in UMass, and Massachusetts playing UMass. Merrimack at UMass. Houston at Baylor. James Madison at Georgia State. Coastal Carolina at Old Dominion. It's Auburn at Vanderbilt. That one is today at 4 o'clock. Charlotte is on the road to take on Tulsa. How about that, Butch Parker? Charlotte on the road to
Andover, Massachusetts. Merrimack.
Oh, one thing, guys.
It's in-state battle.
Interrupt. John Davis says it was 2014. Cardell Jones led Ohio State over Oregon.
So that was the first one.
That was the first.
Yeah, but who were the teams?
Ohio State and Oregon. Oh, the other two.
Yeah, was there 4 then, or was it just 2 selected? But if it's a playoff, there's got to be 4. Otherwise, it's just a national championship game, right?
I'm not sure.
So who were the other 2 teams? If you know that, John, we'd like to know if you know that off the top of your head or off the top of your computer, whichever it may be.
Did Ohio State perhaps beat Alabama?
Cal goes to Oregon. Oregon is a team I would like to see win the national title. Don't ask me why. I just like to watch Oregon play, and it wouldn't.
Bo Nix.
And Lord help, the West Coast needs it.
I heard somewhere the other day, Bo Nix has started over 50 college games.
Yeah, it was a record, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't he break the record of?
Started over 50. Wow.
Yeah. Appalachians at home to take on Marshall, that Mike Powell has already mentioned here. Number 21, Kansas. Beat Oklahoma and it gets you ranked, Mike. Number 21, Kansas is at Iowa State. They'll lay an egg today at Iowa State.
Probably so.
BYU at West Virginia. I'd love to go to a game at West Virginia sometime, especially in the fall.
Morgantown.
Especially in the fall. Purdue is at Michigan. Southern Cal's at home to take on number 5, Washington. Kentucky at Mississippi State. LSU's at Alabama. Stanford goes to Washington State. Deion is at home. The Fighting Deion's at home tonight to take on Oregon State. UCLA goes to Arizona.
Did you say Miami at NC State?
I did not. I skipped right over
Remember,
it.
NC State, not a basketball school.
Miami at NC State. Why did I not see that on my list? Neither team's ranked. There it is. It's down near the bottom. Miami at NC State. LSU at Alabama. I mentioned earlier, but not here.
That's
we
where game
won't
day
say
is.
what Doran said.
I know it.
After that.
Did we find out real quick, and we're going to go to break on this question. Well, I'll just ask it and then I'll give you another lyrics. But did we find out if Will Levis out of the University of Kentucky is a franchise quarterback or not, the way he looked in his first game with the Titans.
I know. Well, by the way, those teams, John Davis says, Oregon, Ohio State, Alabama, and Florida State in the first playoff, 2014.
I'm going to give you one line of this one, and if it takes more, I'll give you more lines when we come back. But here is your lyrics as we go to break. Johnny. All right, here we go. Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatle song. Back in a moment.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry is not just a name, it's the way you're treated the minute you walk in. A full-service dental practice with over 20 years experience and lifelong resident of Catawba and Lincoln County. His commitment and caring run deep in the community. Located at the intersection of Highway 150 and Business 16 in Denver, he's convenient to where you are. Open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5, so look no further for your dentist than Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry. Call 704-489-9919 for your appointment or more information. Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flip through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Hi folks, this is Will Poteet, president and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. The electrical panel is the heart of your home's electrical system. Malfunctions can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk or in the dark altogether. Fixing it quickly will help keep you and your family safe. So trust our team of electrical experts at Mr. Sparky to get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888. Sparky.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Welcome back, Sports Talk. Rodney Willis all over it. Done named the group. Got a couple other guesses.
Well, I know the group, but I can't think of the song.
Okay. Rodney did get it. He actually sent me both, and under it he said good stuff. And yes, it is. It is a really good tune. One of my favorites. Ned guessed foreigner, and that is incorrect.
Yeah.
Lanny asked me if it was Southern Rock, and I'll go ahead and tell you guys, not 100% sure where the band is from, but I'm pretty sure they're not Southern. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look it up and see. I'm going to read you a couple things here. It came from Jason this morning in regards to Oregon. It was the interim AD who fired Brian Ferentz as the OC.
Okay.
This was done without the knowledge of head coach Kirk Ferentz. This move will probably have Kirk Ferentz resign at the end of the season. Now, maybe he meant in regards to that's not Oregon, right? That's
Iowa.
Yeah, in regards to Iowa, maybe.
Well, I can see where Kirk would do that.
And then Colorado announced yesterday that OC Sean Lewis will no longer call plays and the play calling duties.
Bringing in Pat Shurmur.
Yeah, will now go for good job, Mike. They'll go to Pat Shurmur.
Yeah.
What was Pat Shurmur's
well, he was
uncle?
once the coach of the Giants.
Yeah.
Where else?
His uncle, though, that was with the Cowboys, Fritz, right? Fritz Shurmur. You remember that name?
I do not.
Fritz Shurmur. Let's see what else we got here. Yes, you are correct this time, Ned. Mike, you think you got the group? Throw it out there.
Bad company.
Bad company.
Shooting star.
Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song, Love Me Do. I think it was. From there, it didn't take him long.
Yep.
Yeah, and I got one more for you as we go to our final time out
Not
here
a bad one.
in just a little
Tough.
bit. So stay tuned. If you like those lyrics and like guessing those, I try to read them as just as plain and dull as I can read them, so I don't give the tune away or any. Say again.
I stuck it.
I thought you had something good for us there that we was going to talk about.
Wasn't for y'all.
It wasn't for us. Yeah, off the air, good. That kind of good. Just real quick, and it's time for high school football because last night was playoff night, the first of 6 straight weeks of football, high school football. But just real quick, let's go through these. The Miami Dolphins are 6-2. They lead the Eastern AFC East, followed by Buffalo, the Jets, and the Patriots. Here's a good yes or no question too. Will Bill Belichick be the coach of the Patriots next year?
That is a good question.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I think so.
You think he'll be back?
No, I think you're right.
You think no?
I think he'll be back.
The Ravens lead the North, but I tell you what.
Tough league.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Pittsburgh 5-3. There's no way that roster should be 5-3, and so I mean, I have to give Mike Tomlin more credit than I've ever given him. I mean, last year he did not finish with a losing record. He finished 9-8, right?
That's right.
And this year, they're I don't see how, but they're clicking along. Won 5 out of their first 8.
Watch out for the Bengals. They're on the rise.
They are on the rise.
It looks like
they will not be in last place long.
Looks like Joe Morris.
And Cleveland's a much improved team. The Browns 4-3, the Bengals 4-3. Jags lead the South at 6-2, followed by Houston, Indy, and Tennessee. There'll probably only be one playoff team out of that division, I would think.
Probably going to be Jacksonville.
Yes. Kansas City leading the way in the AFC West. What a disappointing Charger team, 3-4.
Yes.
Raiders as well, 3-5, and then Denver 3-5. That Denver's improving to get to 3-5 after what they went through last year. In the NFC, it's the Eagles leading the way, but that could change tomorrow. Big matchup tomorrow. Eagles 7-1, followed by the Cowboys, Washington, and the Giants. And
is this the last hurrah
Philly,
for
Dallas
Ron
tomorrow.
Rivera in D.C.?
Most likely.
More than likely,
Most likely.
yes.
See a lot of changes probably coming to that organization. But he'll get hired some. I'm not going to say last hurrah because he might get hired somewhere else.
at Washington.
Washington.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's the last hurrah.
I don't know if he's going to get a head coaching gig again. Maybe.
The Fighting Dan Campbells are 6-2 in the NFC North. That's the Detroit Lions, followed by Minnesota, Green Bay, and Chicago. Minnesota lost Cousins.
Yep.
They just steal the Cardinals quarterback. You don't want to play there anymore. Come on over here, Josh Dobbs, and play in Minnesota. Because I think the Vikings have the mentality now that they can make a run for the playoffs.
But without
because they started 1-4.
Yeah.
They've won 3 straight.
They've been coming on.
We'll just have to see how Dobbs fits in. The Atlanta Falcons, what a division here. Atlanta's 4-4, Saints 4-4, Tampa 3-4, and the Panthers got their first win last week. They are now 1-6.
Worst division in football.
And I've seen the Falcons
record-wise, yes,
swap quarterbacks.
Yes, they have.
Ritter's been benched, and
Heineke.
He's been ditched.
Heineken,
yeah.
Heineke.
Let's have a Heineken.
Taylor Heineken.
And this division right here, San Francisco's lost 3 straight, and now Seattle's passed them in the standings. The Seahawks are 5-2, Niners 5-3, the Rams 3-5, and Arizona is 1-7. And you know what? We have to do this too. We have talked about it for weeks, and he did it. Corey Seager has become the first player to win the World Series MVP in both the National League and now the American League. And there was a time in that thing he was 3 for 10. But his 3 were home runs. And I don't know what he wound up. But what goes overlooked, because I think he makes it look easy, he plays very good defensive shortstop. But he makes it look easy. He don't, it's not like he's making the phenomenal play, but he is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I know they didn't play the whole World Series in Texas, but before, I think right near the end of the Houston series, he had played 162 games in the Texas ballpark in 2 years. Had 55 home runs in 162 games, just in that ballpark. And
you know what I'll say? You can never say never, but the Rangers were 11-0.
Yeah.
In road games. And when do you see that?
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, they were 11-0 in road games.
And 41-40 in the regular season.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the 11-0.
Yeah.
Well,
that guy I was telling you about that was doing the betting thing yesterday and talking about losing a bet, whatever it was. I can't even remember what I was talking about. But he also, when the playoffs began, he put money on the Rangers to beat the Diamondbacks in the World Series. Now, who in the world would have come up with that? Yeah. He won a little.
Yeah, he did.
He won just a little.
Well, here, I know it's a team that gets hot at the right time of the year and all that, but I am going to say, think of this about Texas. Their best pitcher hadn't been there since May.
Yeah.
When Jacob deGrom is right, he's probably the best pitcher in the big leagues.
And
he hadn't been right for a couple
and then they
years.
didn't have Scherzer.
Yeah.
In this series, in the World Series,
right.
he was inactive, right, because of an injury. Evaldi, though, Lenny, we miss him badly.
Yes, we
in
do.
Boston, but he was the man.
He was.
He would. I guess he only won 1 game in the World Series.
Well, first pitcher to ever win 5 games in the playoffs in the history of the game.
Is that right? See,
of course, I know you play more games.
He
but
deserves
something.
But
you got to win.
I don't know how you can't give another award, but he deserves something for his performance on the mound in those games. Brett tells me I'm wrong. Thank you, Brett. Scherzer made an appearance. He pitched 3 innings.
Yeah, he did.
In a game. So, and that's good. I'm glad he did. Because we know that Scherzer and Verlander aren't going to be around forever. I mean, their days are coming when they've got to step aside and let the youth take over.
Speaking of baseball, Bruce Bochy, now 4 World Series championships.
Yep.
And
only 6 managers.
With just 2 teams, right? 3 of them were with San Francisco.
2010.
I believe I read 6 have won 4, and 4 have won with different teams. He's one of 4 that's won with Sparky Anderson, was Tony La Russa, Bochy, and then the other 2 guys I didn't know they were much
older.
Many years ago. Yeah. They had won for different teams, and then there was
Connie Mack. Somebody.
No, it wasn't him. But now Connie Mack was in that.
Is it a name that
4 or more?
Yeah.
Stengel.
Yeah.
Connie Mack.
Who has the most?
How about Leo?
Stengel.
Leo Durocher,
7, I believe.
as they say on the Hillbillies. Yeah. Leo Durocher.
Yeah, Stengel has 7.
Here was what kind of surprised me that he won 4. I guess that was in the '60s. Walter Alston.
Dodgers. Yeah, I remember him, Walter Alston. Not on this show, Rodney. Let me go ahead and mention that to you. He says Bochy is underrated, and not on this show. It was good timing because Mike brought up Bruce Bochy right as Rodney sent the message.
Joe McCarthy.
We think a lot of Bruce Bochy.
He was the other, I think Stengel was 1, and then McCarthy, and then Connie Mack
with 5,
and then
Bochy.
Alston won 4, and Bochy's won 4.
And don't forget Walter Alston with 4.
Hey, you're behind, Mike. He just said that one.
Okay.
Well, for a long time there, if you were the Yankee or Dodger manager, you were have a good chance at winning a World Series.
Oh, by the way, the lowest rated as far as TV ratings World Series in a while, right?
This was
Yep.
the lowest rated. Okay, let's ask this then. How much of a point did you make that you had to see it?
Not as much.
You did.
I watched.
I'm going
it,
to
but
guess
not
nobody
as-
in here saw every inning of every game because I didn't.
I did.
So very few innings of each.
Oh, I had it on every night.
Did you?
I did have it on every night.
Not every,
Right.
not
I
every
did
pitch.
right.
I'm like you.
And I'm, no matter what, if you're a baseball fan, you should have watched it. Number one, Texas. It took them 63 years as a franchise
63.
to get a world championship, and that's a long time coming.
It
And
is.
then we've got a tie to it. We got Jay Hefner, who went to West Lincoln,
We
played
do.
his college baseball at Davidson, now works for the Texas Rangers.
That's right.
And you got Corey Seager, the best player on maybe in baseball right now. I mean, I know he's not. People are going to say, "Oh no, he's not the best player in baseball," but okay, he might be the most decorated right now because he's got another ring and he's got another MVP trophy. That heard a poll question yesterday on Dan Patrick, and he said the guy doing the poll said, which career would you rather have? Well, Corey Seager's going to win that poll right now because he is the hot thing. Yeah. But it was Corey Seager. Help me here, Mike Trout, Corey Seager, Mike Trout, or my Philly. What's his name?
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Yeah. Which one of those careers would you guys take at this point? And some people have said. Dan Patrick himself said Trout because he's one of the greatest 10 players he thinks in his lifetime. That Trout is one of the best 10. But the guy doing the poll made a great
He's never
great
played in the
comment.
playoff as a game. Has he
Three.
ever been?
He's been in three. I think they
okay.
were swept.
Okay, I didn't.
But the guy doing the poll actually said, Dan, whenever you're playing as a kid in your backyard, you don't dream of winning an MVP. You dream of winning the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
It's always you're playing out that home run to walk off the World Series. You know what I mean? Brett said he would take Bryce Harper. I'm not going to turn down any of them. Then it got into money, like who's making the most money. Trout's making all this money, but we weren't. I don't think the poll was meant for money.
Right.
It was just like to have their career, and I think. Bryce Harper's going to be, not Bryce Harper, but Corey Seager's going to be remembered for a pretty great.
Yeah.
Gene, you never answered me back. I was picking at you a while ago when you're give me two steps didn't work. You wouldn't have got that on Jeopardy. I can promise you that. You leave a letter out of a word, they will zap you in a heartbeat. What they might. And Ken Jennings is hard on people. He don't mess around. Yeah. Oh, sorry, out of time. He likes to.
Sorry, out of time.
Oh, what I want to know, Gene, if you're still tuned in this morning, are you at the beach? Is this not the weekend, Lenny? That group? I don't
know.
I think this is it because they tried to talk me out of just miss the first week of playoffs. Jason Stewart said just miss the first week of playoffs and go with us. So it's hard for me to miss the first week of playoffs. I love the high school football playoffs. Maybe the dates of that annual trip might need to change. All right, here we go. High school football from last night. Get you guys, if you want to stop me on any game, just blurt it out. Go ahead and start talking about it. David Wise, Seager reminds me of the way I think about Bobby Dale. He could take his team and beat yours, then he could take your team and beat his. Yeah. Who was the famous coach that is some
Howard. Frank Howard, wasn't it? Said that, wasn't it?
Bum Phillips did in football, I know, because he said his'n.
He
could take his'n and beat mine, or he could take mine and beat his'n.
Frank Howard used to say that.
Monty says Bryce Harper as well.
Frank Howard, he did. Yeah, he did.
I just love the way Bryce plays the game. I'll tell you that right now. And he won. Did he win a World Series?
I think he had already left.
He probably will eventually, though.
When the Nationals?
2019.
Yeah.
I think he had just left.
He had.
As long as the Phillies keep that roster, they're going to be a player and probably get in the playoffs. It'll be between them and the Braves to win the division, but then, I do think they'll, with that roster, they'll get in the playoffs. I just gave them the kiss of death, so watch for them to lose 100 next year. And speaking of losing 100, didn't the Texas Rangers lose 100 2 years ago?
2 years ago, 102.
102
94
losses 2
last
years
year.
ago. 94 last year.
I believe I heard him say.
Wow. So it don't take long to build yourself a championship team if you're willing to pay the price. That's basically what it is. If you want to win a championship, and I was really, the owner of the Rangers on the field after that. I watched all that kind of stuff, because I wanted to see if Seager did get that MVP. I wanted to make sure he did. They won it without one of their best hitters too. What was the guy's name?
Garcia.
Went out injured. He didn't even get to play.
Well, here's another guy that needs to get a lot of credit. The general manager, Chris Young. I mean, he's went out and he knows baseball, and he's went out and spent the owner's money. And there was questions when he went out and spent half a billion dollars on 2 players.
One last thing on Major League Baseball, and I got to bring this up, Rodney. I hate these squares where you get on these pools, and you know what I'm talking about, Lenny? They draw the numbers, and it's the final score of the final game, whenever that game may be. Because with 2 outs in the ninth the other night, I was $500 richer. And then there was a 2-run homer, and I said bye-bye to my money. Charlie Brown, I think, was the name I saw on the board. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rodney. Charlie Brown was the grand winner in that one. But, yeah, 3-0 I had, 3-0 Rangers. And there's a guy at third with no outs, and I'm like, well, that's gone. But they got a strikeout, then they got an infield ground out, and the runner didn't move. And then all of a sudden, bomb. With 2 outs in the ninth, I lose. Because I still would have had to have the Diamondbacks go scoreless in the bottom, but they did. They did go scoreless in the bottom.
Hit that 2-run home run.
So I hope Charlie Brown enjoys spending my money that I had. And whoever had 1-0 too, because I think when the inning started, wasn't it? When they went to the ninth, was it 1-0? I think it was 1-0 when they went to the bottom of the ninth. And that person had already won multiple times because they were giving away every 2 innings.
Yeah.
So that person already won multiple times. He could have really mopped up. Here we go. Like I said, you want to stop me, stop me. Southwest Onslow loses to Farmville Central, the basketball school. Farmville 42-35. Forest Hills, back-to-back weeks, beats Anson County. You got one of those, Mike, back-to-back. Forest Hills win last night at home, 28-7 over Anson County. Charlotte Catholic, this one surprised me, the margin here. Charlotte Catholic goes to Myers Park, wins last night 42-24. First-year coach at West Iredale, help me with the name again.
Matt Wilson.
Matt Wilson, thank you. Stepson of Nick Beisel, the head coach at North Lincoln. Wilson. Team goes down last night, but they did have to play Dudley in the first round, 63-14. But, hey, kudos to Wilson for getting West Iredale in the playoffs.
6-4 regular season, absolutely. Should be coach of the year in that league.
Yep. I don't know whether I say this or not. A candidate for the Newton Conover job, quite possibly, that came open this week with the resignation of Stephen Pack.
He played there.
Yeah. Most people would like to go back to my old school.
They have athletes usually. I think you can win there, with the right situation.
Don't know how long it's been, but Burlington Cummings won a playoff game last night. They beat Trask High School 27-22. Hillside and New Hanover. New Hanover wins 23-6. Trying to find West scores here. Richmond County. This shocks me. They were 5-5 or 6-4-1 on the season. But last night they lost in the first round of the high school football playoffs to Leesville Road, 27-0 in that. A little surprised that they got shut out in that game. Monroe over Bandy's. We knew Bandy's out of the CVAC had the hardest game of the night. They lose 63-13 to Monroe. Next up for Monroe, we'll get to that in a little bit. Just keep that in your head. Mallard Creek defeats Marvin Ridge 41-7. That game was at Marvin Ridge, the higher seed, and Mallard Creek wins in a rout 41-7.
They've been under the radar too, Mallard Creek, because they played a lot of out-of-state games.
Yeah.
Hey, here's one, David. I don't know where you go. Pender over Warren County 58-42. Wasn't it Pender that scored over 100 points in the game earlier?
I think it was.
Coached by Tom Eanes.
Yep, I think it was Pender County. A lot of people thinking 2A East, Clinton will come out of the bracket. They got off to a good start last night. They beat Kinston 64-12. Lexington loses to Community School of Davidson 38-16. Community School of Davidson moves on. Huff rolls over Asheville at home last night. Huff 51-0 over the Cougars. Southeast Raleigh, Apex Friendship. Apex wins at 27-6. Madison County and Reedsville. Well, you go ahead and guess. Reedsville a winner at home, 58-0 in that opening round game. Havelock defeats Dixon 62-0. Wake Forest High over Garner 42-19. A.L. Brown gave Mooresville a game last night. Just a little bit of a surprise here. But Mooresville pulls it out 24-18 in that win over A.L. Brown. Central Davidson upsets Eastern Guilford 30-27, an Eastern Guilford home game. Your defending 2A state champion East Duplin a winner in the first round 41-18 over Eastern Wayne. East Surrey, coached by Trent Lohman, 42-13 over Providence Day. Rollsville rolls last night over Purnell Sweat 62-0. East Forsyth beats Greensboro Page 42-6. Looking for Western scores. Cuthbertson and Porter Ridge. It was Porter Ridge a winner 41-0. West Forsyth 32. Ardrey Kell 15 last night. Northwest Guilford falls to Chambers. Julius Chambers wins 45-20. Mount Tabor upsets Davie County. This is the one maybe that surprised me the most. Mount Tabor going into Davie County wins 48-26. I'm sure in front of a packed stadium because Davie County always fills it up. AC Reynolds over North Gaston 45-0. Wallace Rosehill over Green Central 55-6. West Rowan falls to Northwest Cabarrus. Northwest Cabarrus still with just that one loss on the season. That was to J.M. Robinson, who also won last night as well. I'm sure we'll get to their score in a minute. But Northwest Cabarrus over West Rowan, 52-21.
And they play next week.
Do they again? I figured it would come around soon. Would you rather be the one that won the first time or the one that lost the first time? I guess I'd rather be the one that won because I'd be at home. Get you the home game. Let's see. Allegheny, Mountain Island Charter. Mountain Island Charter wins 27-22 last night in a tight one.
Now, is that the only Gaston County team to win?
Bessemer won.
Bessemer won.
Yep. Butler over Alexander Central, 49-7. Tough trip for Alexander Central last night. TC Robertson over Reagan, 42-21. Smoky Mountain falls to Kings Mountain, Battle of the Mountains. Kings Mountain 37, Smoky Mountain 7. South Point can't get past the first round this year. Mike and I have both picked Statesville to win this game in close games.
We were one of only
three or four, maybe.
3 out of 11 to pick.
Well,
the Greyhounds.
You probably saw it, Mike. It ended on they went for 2.
Went for 2.
Did South Point went for 2?
Yeah.
How about that? 28-27. Statesville a winner in that game. The only one Mike and I had different last night was Tuscola and High Brighton, and it's unbelievable, isn't it? That's the only one we had different, and it wound up 41-40, High Brighton. Fortunately, I had High Brighton and Mike had Tuscola, so I got to gain one on him this week.
Tuscola, let me down.
Grimsley 54-0 over North Mac. Now, let me stop you right here. Let me stop me right here. We just talked last week about North Mac whipping West Charlotte. What is going on here? I mean, they beat West Charlotte last week like 38-6 or something. It was bad.
3 touchdowns.
Grimsley beats them 54-0. So is Grimsley the team we should look out for to be state champion in the 4A?
Right.
Are they the favorite, at least in the West?
Yep.
With a performance like that, you have to definitely, and they are ranked 3rd overall in the state. Number 7 Crest beats Parkwood 53-0 last night. Here's a surprise. Drone out of the playoffs, first round.
Yep.
Corvian Community beats them 38-28.
I've never heard of Corvian before.
Well, we've called their score out every week. You should have heard.
I heard
were you
last
sleeping
night
through those segments?
Where they were at. They're in Charlotte somewhere.
Is it?
Right across the street from a public school, but I cannot remember who it was.
Brett was telling me that somebody we had talked about last week or week before said, when we were talking about him, he said, well, their best win might be over Corvian Community. So Corvian's making a name for themselves in 1A right now. North Stanley beat T.W. Andrews 34-32, entertaining game there. Murphy over Polk County 57-21. Scotland over Rocky Mount 48-23. Maiden here at home last night. A tight game. It was late in the fourth quarter. It was 24-21, but Maiden scored a late touchdown and win at 31. That might be the one, Mike, they scored on the ensuing kickoff. They run one of the kickoffs back, and it might have been that one to make it 31-21. Fuquay defeated Jack Britt 17-9. Lincoln with a win last night on the road at North Surrey 35-21. Northmore defeats Chatham Central 28-0. Robbinsville rolling 55-7 over Thomas Jefferson. Mountain Heritage over Carpenter. Mountain Heritage over Carver, Winston-Salem Carver, 51-6. Still don't have a score here on Max Preps of Cherryville and Eastern Randolph, but we do know Eastern Randolph was a winner. Is that right, Mike?
Yes.
Brevard beat Trinity 44-13. Watauga over Hickory Ridge 54-34. Albemarle shuts out South Davidson 49-0. Starmount, Greg Lloyd, a 9-1 regular season. Now he gets Starmount a playoff win over Cherokee. He's done a heck of a job with turning the program back around. 35-21, Starmount wins that one.
No doubt.
West Henderson. Let me get my directions right. West Henderson beats Irwin 61-15. Up next for them will be East Lincoln, and we'll get to those in a minute. Independence beat Lake Norman, Mike, 35-0. Lake Norman, the higher seed, playing at home, but they didn't have the rank beside their name. Independence is 23rd in the state of North Carolina.
The score surprised me. It didn't surprise me they lost, but the score.
Yeah.
And Lake Norman, after going 9-0, got blitzed by Mooresville, and then last night ousted.
Maybe Lake Norman and Mooresville both are not.
It can't be
as good as their records were.
That's right.
Because Mooresville won, but it wasn't big.
No.
Of course, I know it's A.L. Brown, but
but A.L. Brown was just 5-5, maybe 6-4.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Ashbrook Ashbrook losing to Oak Grove 34-0 last night in a shutout. Shelby over Mount Pleasant 62-14. East Lincoln gets the laugh against Mike and myself. East Lincoln wins last night 49-13. They don't just win, but they rout Ledford 49-13. Swain County over Avery 47-0. Hickory over Hunter Huss 51-32. West Charlotte defeats Northeast Guilford 21-0. Salisbury rolls over East Davidson 55-21. Thomasville wins over Andrews 49-6. You notice when you do the playoffs, you have just about as many scores as you do during the regular season.
Yeah.
West Stokes over Southwestern Randolph 19-6. Mitchell over East Wilkes 33-15. Randleman 43. West Stanley 0. North Lincoln, the game Mike and I saw, 50-0 over Rockingham County. Burns over Pine Lake 50-7. Thank you. Burns 63-34 over Pine Lake Prep. Chase, back and forth game for a while. I know Chase was up 21-15, but West Lincoln went on a run, pulls away 53-35. The Rebels win it last night over the Chase Trojans, advance to the second round. East Rutherford and Bunker Hill, the Bears 61-7 in a rout over East Rutherford last night. Hayesville over Christ the King 28-0. Sun Valley. If you beat Christ the King, do you have to ask forgiveness the next morning, Mike?
It would help.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it before you do it. Cox Mill loses to Sun Valley 44-18 in that matchup. And now my question is to you guys, and we're going to take a break here in just a minute. I want you to think about this. The great matchups that we're going to see next week in round 2 with some of these teams. I tell you, it is a gauntlet for some of these teams as we move forward into the next round. It's not like it used to be. And if we had 6 or 8 classes, it would be a little bit more thinned out, and you wouldn't have to play. You wouldn't see the powerhouses going up against each other as much.
Yeah, I think that will be one of the advantages if they do go to 8 divisions.
Yeah.
You more teams
or
have
6.
a chance
I'll take
to win.
6 or 8. I've heard it was not be 7.
Okay.
Heard that through the grapevine, but I don't know why. Georgia does it fine with 7.
You'd take 6.
Yeah, I would, but I'd rather have the 8 if it has to be one way or the other. We're going to take our final time out. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. I did say I had another set of lyrics, though, didn't I? Let's see here before we go to break. I thought that the Thin Lizzy at the beginning might be the easiest, but this might be the easiest for you guys.
All right.
I'm not putting pressure on by no means. Clean shirt, new shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Al Lane Motorsports is now Power Max Motorsports. Yes, the name has changed, but the great products you've come to know and trust are still there. The new Power Max Motorsports will continue to carry the full line of Can-Ams and Toro mowers, and they will feature a full service and parts department. Drop by and meet the new folks today. They want to get to know you and your needs. The new Power Max Motorsports, Highway 27 East and the Highway 73 intersection in Lincoln. Drop by and see them today. Full Throttle Power Sports and Law is proud to announce the addition of Brian Lane to their sales staff. And Brian wants to take this time to invite his friends and former customers of Al Lane Motorsports in Lincoln to come see him at Full Throttle Power Sports and Law, featuring brand names like CF Moto, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Polaris, and more. See Brian Lane at Full Throttle Power Sports, 101 Indian Walk of I-85 in Law, online at ncfullthrottle.com.
For where 2 or 3 have gathered together in my name, I am there in their midst. Matthew 18:20. You are invited to gather with us at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church, located at 520 Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park. Sunday school meets at 10, and worship follows at 11 every Sunday. Follow us on Facebook for special service announcements. Join us Sunday at Rhine Heights United Methodist Church.
Triad Corrugated Metal in Lincoln is this area's headquarters for premium metal roofing and supplies. And now just arrived, square tubing for metal carports and metal buildings. Give them a call at 980-429-2278 for pricing and sizes. And they have a wide variety of colors. Visit the website at triadcorrugatedmetal.com. And like them on Facebook too, Triad Corrugated Metal, 108 Industrial Park Road in Lincoln.
Buying a Bobcat is now easier than ever at West End Sales in Vail. Now get 0% APR financing. That means low monthly payments. Or you can get $1,200 instant rebates on selected models. Now is the time to buy. Like we said, it's easier than ever. Again, get 0% APR financing or get $1,200 instant rebate on selected Bobcat models at West End Sales at the Highway 1827 West intersection in Vail. Online at westindsales.com and like them on Facebook too.
Good participation this morning. We got a couple more messages coming in, and I'm going to read you some of the messages before we get back to the high school football. Jason sends us the final score on that game, Mike, of Cherryville, 68-7.
All right.
Eastern Randolph was the winner in that one. That's down there in Barber Country, isn't it? Down in that Randolph County area. Freddie Scott wants to make sure that we know that the money didn't help the Mets or the Padres. That's whenever I said it shows that you can build a team in a short amount of time through free agency. You have to get the right ones. You have to get the right guys in in check. But
Mooresville was in overtime last night.
Mooresville was overtime?
Yes.
Wow, Mooresville's game was overtime. That's one thing Max Preps don't put on there. If it's an overtime game, it's not listed anywhere. And I guess unless you went on the box score, it might tell you that way. But you're right, Freddie. It did not help. It did not help those two teams, Mets or Padres. Maybe they should just make a trade rosters and see if they can do any better on the other coast. Butch tells me you're getting too soft on the boys, and I don't know if he means I don't know what drew that comment. If I'm getting too soft, I'll get my. I don't know if he's talking about I'm being soft on y'all.
Is he talking about the Cowboys?
No, Mike. He's talking about either the music I've given you, either it's too easy, or I don't know. He's gonna have to. And Don Revel's also got it. But Lenny got it in the studio. Don Revel's got it. It's ZZ Top, sharp dress man, clean shirt, new shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Silk suit, black tie. I don't need a reason why. Love it. Can see the beards now. Mike Painter sends me a message that Hooks said, ZZ Top, sharp dress man. Good morning to you guys, Hooks and Mike as well, and also Don Revels and the folks. I was going to tell you, Rodney was kind enough to send me. I was telling you about the block pool that I was in this week, and he tells me here you are correct. Curtis Fisher won $100 with the score of 1-0 early. Curtis Fisher won another $200 with the same score. Curtis Fisher then added $300, so he won $600. He won more than the final pot.
Actual winner.
Yeah, he won $600, and then the final did go to Charlie Brown, and we'll be seeing Charlie soon with the Thanksgiving edition.
We will,
and the Christmas edition coming up on TV. But Charlie Brown though used to not ever win anything.
No,
and now he's taking my $5 that was already halfway down my $500.
Except for a bag of rocks.
It was already way down in my pocket, halfway down in my pocket anyway, and he just slipped it right out of there and kept it for himself.
You got the bag of rocks.
Yeah, that's I got many bags of rocks sitting on the mantle, right? That's the biggest kind of trophy I've got. A high school football game that surprised you the most last night? Was there? Either of you guys, the score when you heard it that you thought,
Well, since I picked East Lincoln to lose to Ledford, I'll have to go with that one. That's his score.
You know what? And exactly. The
49-13.
The way they manhandled them. I mean, it was the first score we got was 14-0. The first update we got.
Have you seen any stats on that game yet?
I have not.
I want to see what.
I'll get them tomorrow morning.
What Chris Daly did. I mean, he may have he's sort of been quiet this year.
The one and only Matt Beam is my statistician, man. He'll send me the stats on Sunday morning. We usually chat back and forth on text for a little bit about the game and things like that. But I'll get them tomorrow morning. I know one thing. He'll be more pleased to send me the stats this coming Sunday morning than he was last week because he had a little comment on the stats that he sent me last week when, honestly, I mean, North Lincoln was shut out 13-0. East Lincoln was by North Lincoln.
That's right. And only had 100 yards of offense.
97. And at that point I started thinking, when have I ever seen a team with a winning record that played a game and was held under 100 yards? And I don't.
Rarity.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say that I did.
Matt probably wants y'all to keep picking against him.
Yeah, well, tough break.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to get us on that.
Ain't gonna happen.
Ain't going to happen this week.
Yeah. I was going to look up real quick, Mike. Does anything at the top of your head the stat? You got to talk about the freshman running back at North Lincoln.
Oh.
You have got to talk about Agee, Landon Agee last night, filling in for the injured Shannon Wingate, and he did a great job last week with 128 yards, but last night. Has a freshman ever scored 5 TDs?
Okay, let's get this straight. He was on the JV, correct?
I thought you were going to get it straight.
Yeah, I think he was. And then
I'm guessing he was.
Yeah, Shannon Wingate got hurt, in the 8th game of the year, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then
right before playing East Lincoln.
And then Agee steps in. You said he had 128 last week. Well, last night he had 254 yards by my very unofficial count on only 15 carries. Now, what is that an average per carry? I can't do that math.
Say it again. His
15 carries for 254 is what he had.
That comes to 17.
Yeah. And he
just
scored,
off the top of my head.
And he rushed for 5 touchdowns.
That's amazing part.
Yeah.
Have we seen a freshman back score 5 touchdowns in a game?
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he had 2 one-yard touchdown runs and then ripped off a 45-yarder, a 58-yarder, and he capped it. First play of the second half, I believe it was, 11:47 to go in the third quarter, a 72-yarder.
Yeah.
In which he just sort of broke off to the right side and showed his speed and just blitzed, outran everybody.
Freshman running back with power
and speed.
And that's that's a rare combination. Butch says his
gets
comment
off the ball.
His comment on being too soft on y'all is with lyrics.
With lyrics,
I'm being
yeah,
so.
You got to get harder.
Yeah,
got to get harder.
Oh, listen at Mike, who didn't get a one of them. That's funny, but yeah, I thought it. Mike, I'm with you. Just the night that kid had last night. I mean, great headlines would be good night or great night. Good night.
Are you going to go for
Rockingham County? I don't know.
You got to go with something.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Great T-shirt last night. Sweatshirt last night.
I got it even better, Mike. One for the ages.
Great one. You got to go with that.
One for the ages.
If you don't go with that, I'm going to be disappointed. One for the ages. That's it.
The AGs.
That's New York Post.
It is, isn't it? One for the AGs. I don't know how that came to me so quick.
Yeah. Hey.
But that one might be used because now they got a rematch with Hickory. North Lincoln going to Hickory to play in that first next round.
Yeah, I just think it's a much better team than when they faced them on September 22nd at North. Final score was 43-14, Hickory. And I don't know how that game went as far as what was it at halftime and so forth and so on, but I gotta believe it's going to be a more competitive game this time around.
Jalen Winnick did not get to 5 last night, Mike, but he got 4. A 29-yard touchdown run.
Pretty
Winnick
awesome.
for West Lincoln, 17 on the touchdown run. This is thanks to Darren Ponder this morning, head coach for the Rebels. Also, he's got Winnick with a 9-yard rushing touchdown and a 3-yard rushing touchdown. Caden Smith with a pair, 6 yards and 54 yards. Gideon Allen, starting quarterback, a 20-yarder and a 16-yarder. Last night for the West Lincoln Rebels. The Rebels who, let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here. 44 carries, 386. Good night on the ground last night.
What was Caden Smith's again?
Let's see. I'll give them to you real quick here. I didn't give you any of them. But Caden had a big night, 16 for 186.
Okay.
And 2 touchdowns.
Well, he was reasonably contained against Lincoln. I didn't know whether that lingering injury was affecting him or not.
Well, he broke out last night.
Yeah, he did.
16 for 186, 2
Well,
scores. Winnick, 14 for 133 and 4 touchdowns. And then Gideon Allen, 8 carries, 44 yards, touchdown as well. Of course, in the line score, it's got Allen with 2 touchdowns, so I'm going to go with that he had 2 touchdowns.
Gideon Allen has
night.
steadily improved as a quarterback all season long, executing that wing tee offense.
And another one that'll be back next year. Hey, Winnick will be back in the backfield with him as well.
We got some good quarterbacks coming back next year in the county. Well, Andre Boss will not be coming back for Lincoln, but here's something too, David. Jake Dillingham of North Lincoln now 42 out of 43 on PATs for the year.
Yeah. Kicking the kickoffs in the end zone.
Kickoff. He's
can make a field goal when he needs
8 for 11. Anytime they're inside the 30, he's a legitimate threat for field goal.
What year is he?
Junior.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's about 6'2", isn't he?
Yeah. Their long snapper is a junior, Cade Sturgill.
Rodney, don't have the last name, but he said kid from Shelby last night, Tristan something another, 6 carries, 125 yards, 3 touchdowns. In that, a pretty good average.
Shelby's running the ball.
That's 20
now,
a
guys.
game. Yeah, they are.
In the last 3 games, they've sort of.
They're more of a running team than they are airing it out.
Team.
That's for
Right
sure.
now.
Yeah. Well, you know, okay. kudos. I mean, the man's going with what personnel he's got.
Yeah.
You know, what's the name? It starts with a W. Wilbanks, right?
Yeah,
Coach
Mike
Wilbanks.
Can Lincoln match Shelby speed? Lincoln's got a lot of speed.
I think speed-wise, they'll probably be okay, Mike.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just it's Shelby mentality.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Shelby goes out there and they're going to expect to win that game. You're playing on their field.
That's right.
It's Shelby, you know, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about in our final few minutes here, because it hits the fan. I'll just put it that way. It hits the fan next week. I mean, I do not remember a time when the second round was a heavyweight battle in a lot. I mean, look, Bunker Hill's 11-0. They're hosting Burns. You know, I mean, it's I know Burns is 8-3, but guess what? It's still Burns.
Right.
And their 3 losses
you
are
know
the
who
quality
those 3
team.
are.
Well, I'm
I mean,
guessing Crest, Kings Mountain, and Shelby.
That's exactly right.
So you know, they haven't lost outside the county, if that's the case.
No.
But Bunker Hill, I do like Bunker Hill's chances. I will say that. Reidsville's at home against West Stokes. West Stokes usually pretty good. 9-2 Mitchell. 9-2 Mitchell. You know where they're going? Mount Airy.
Ooh.
Mount Airy is the one team that we keep an eye on because they've outscored their opponents like 700-20.
I think they'll get a game from Mitchell.
I don't know which one. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to comment to that, Mike. Right. How about this battle? Used to be one high school. Want to guess? Wake Forest goes to Roseville.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Who is going to High Brighton Mountain? Who do you think's going up to High Brighton Mountain?
I don't know, but
the Lions of West Charlotte. Going up to High Brighton to play the Panthers. Hickory at North Lincoln. It says Hickory. That's wrong. It's the you know, and I may be wrong on that seeding too, but I do think High Brighton was a conference champ, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they probably will be at home. Yeah. Hickory is at home to take on North Lincoln. I tell you what, you get there early and you put your seatbelt on, because there's going to be some hitting on the field so physical you might feel it in the stands. You might want to wear a seatbelt.
David, AC Reynolds and Kings Mountain.
AC Reynolds, Kings Mountain.
That's tough.
I will keep it to myself, but I know who I'm picking in that one.
I know who you're picking.
Bessemer City.
You don't trust Kings Mountain in playoff games.
So now Mike's giving his true feelings over here. Bessemer City at Swain County. That's going to be tough. Tough place to play. I've been to Swain County one time for a game.
Oh, it's at Swain.
Yes.
We talked earlier.
Well,
I thought it was,
okay. You can't tell because they don't. I don't think they've got some of them upside down. So I should just say versus.
Well, where that is being played is pretty critical.
Bessemer City will take on Swain County. Yeah, it is. Swain County is a hard place to roll into and win. Before I get back to scores, I want to mention Rodney here says, speaking of West Lincoln, their defense forced multiple turnovers last night. Yeah, there was a stretch where he just kept sending me fumble.
Yeah.
Darren Ponder deserves a lot of credit and praise for the impact he has made on the West Lincoln defensive line, defensive schemes during his tenure there.
He's
he's
really
a defensive
improved
coach.
Defensively. Yeah.
He's a defensive coach, and he's a good one.
And of course, David Avery running the offense, the wing T.
At Bessemer, yeah.
Bessemer's 8, Swain's a 9.
Yeah.
I
should have had me a bracket
That
here.
is at Bessemer.
Yeah, it will be at Bessemer.
Well, I mean,
Rodney says he's a good coach, better man, and he's talking about Ponder there.
Yeah, he's
that's what you want to hear.
He's certainly done a great job.
West Forsyth will take on Butler next week. Butler, the 10-1 higher seed. And that one, North Rowan and Corvian Community. You're gonna get used to that name, Mike.
Yeah, it's being drummed into my head.
Hey, according to Max Preps, Lincoln may not play Shelby. It says TBA.
Oh, to be announced. Well, let's find somebody else.
I think the Wolves would rather play TBA.
Yeah,
I know I would rather take on TBA than the Shelby Golden Lions. Nash Central, West Craven, Newbern, and New Hanover. Let's see. Some of these are incomplete. They don't have it in there. East Surrey and Community School of Davidson. That could be a really good matchup right there. Sun Valley and Grimsley.
What is the ranking seating for Community School? I think they were like third, weren't they, in the bracket? The one-in bracket?
That's my fault. I don't have that right here in front of me. I should have had my sheet with me so we could go through the. Thank you, Lenny. Thank you, Lenny.
Yeah.
I know Watauga's at home because they're 11-0 and they will host the Creek. Mallard Creek going to Watauga.
Be a great game.
The Pioneers better hope it's about 12 degrees at kickoff. I think it's supposed to get warm this week, but cool back down by Friday. Maybe.
Yeah.
Cool down some.
If they get the cold weather, they may have a shot.
Mooresville at home to take on Mount Tabor in the next round. And Mount Tabor just knocked off Lake Norman. Is that who it was?
I'll tell you.
It seemed like Mount Tabor won last night.
Mount
Obviously,
Tabor beat Davie.
Beat Davie County.
Davie County.
AC Reynolds and Kings Mountain. I'm not sure where that one's at, just because Kings Mountain didn't win the conference.
No.
AC Reynolds probably did win their conference. While you're looking for that, Lenny, TC Roberson and Charlotte Catholic, that's a good matchup.
Be at AC Reynolds.
Be at AC
7,
Reynolds.
Kings Mountain's a 10.
Kings Mountain on the road at AC Reynolds. Does that solidify my pick, Mike?
Yep.
They're playing them at home.
That does it.
Let's see. Cardinal Gibbons and Millbrook, both at 9-2, hook up next week. Oak Grove and Pisgah. I'll take Oak Grove in that one, whether they're home or away.
They're the higher seed,
Yep.
6-11.
Rematch. The two teams combined are 21-1, and the only loss was Robinson beating Northwest Cabarrus 21-13, and now they already have the rematch coming up this week. And by winning that game, Robinson gets the home game because they are the higher seed. Maiden is playing a familiar foe. They've faced Salisbury, I'm going to say, twice in the last 5 years.
Yeah, recently.
Both in Maiden, though.
Yeah.
This time they got to travel. They will go to 11-0 Salisbury next week. Will the Maiden Blue Devils. State runner-up Northern Nash, 10-1, Mike. Now they play Southern Nash. You think there'll be a crowd at that game? Both teams 10-1.
Yeah.
And now they hook up against each other. Mountain Heritage and Starmount. I like that matchup. I think Mountain Heritage gets the edge there
Greg
as well.
Floyd doing a good job at Star Mountain his first year.
Dudley at Central Davidson, Thomasville and Albemarle. Not at Central Davidson. I said that wrong. That's at Dudley. Cape Fear, Mike, taking on Havelock. I'm sure you'll be there, or at least you'll watch the replay when you get home.
You didn't give Cape Fear a score when you ran down the scores. So
well, obviously they won
because
they live to see another day.
That's right.
32-12.
How about this one? Thomasville Albemarle.
33-12.
I remember back in the day, Thomasville Albemarle used to be for the West 1A finals.
Oh, always.
You know,
yeah.
I mean that was a matchup that took you to the West finals. About out of time. Something real quick. Don Revels, a Shelby graduate, says the Golden Lions. Shelby's running the ball more, but still throw it 80% of the time. Land Farmer, sophomore quarterback, will break school records before he is done.
Ooh.
So a sophomore quarterback for the Golden Lions, it's getting it done through the air as well. Murphy and Bishop McGinnis, Independence and East Forsyth. Now that's a battle of two heavyweights right there. West Lincoln has to travel to Monroe, Mountain Island Charter, and Robbinsville, Northmore and Bertie, Fuquay and Ashley, Statesville and Crest.
Oh.
That's interesting. Statesville
Crest
on the road at
breathing
Crest.
a sigh of relief. They don't have to face South Point.
Lincoln does go to Shelby. Maiden goes to Salisbury. East Lincoln goes to West Henderson. North Lincoln goes to Hickory, who have I left out there in our immediate area there. West Lincoln goes to Monroe. I think that's got the immediate area covered. We appreciate you tuning in this morning to Sports Talk. We're just about out of time. It's almost time to hit the breakfast table. So at this point, we'll just say so long. Thank you for tuning in to Sports Talk. See you next week.